Maybe this is you. You feel like you can't focus. Wait, what did you say? So, as you're probably watching this video, maybe you've already looked down to the comments, you've already looked at some other videos, you're like, oh, let's see if this other video is more interesting than this one. This one, it's not giving me that dopamine, that happiness. So I'm going to tell you first of all, give this video your full attention. Full screen it, don't do anything else at the same time. Just eyes on the screen. This is literally the only thing you're thinking about. And I promise you, I will be able to help you. So for me personally, I think mindfulness meditation actually saved my life. Like, I know people will say, oh, this saved my life, and it's like them getting a dog or something. But I think when I was growing up, I was kind of one of those kids that was, when someone tried to get me to do something, I just wouldn't be able to do it. Like, I couldn't focus. I couldn't pay attention. And so whenever someone talked to me, like, I'd always feel like, oh, what did that person say again? Like, what are we talking about? And I think, like, in a real way, to help me focus better in school, to help me focus better in life, to be more aware of stress and whatnot, I think meditation did actually save my life. This is kind of a bold claim, is that I think meditation is kind of like the cornerstone of self-improvement, the foundation, right? It's like you build your house on like brick, for example, right? Because bricks are way more secure, they're way more solid, they're way more reliable, right? And that's kind of how I feel about meditation. When you have the bottom of the house as meditation, and your life can really grow, when it's the basis of everything that you do, when it practically helps you control all of your own thoughts, that's when everything else, like the house that you built on top of it, becomes really, really stable and reliable. Another thing that it really helps you with is fixing or improving your attention span, which is something I've talked about in another video, actually. So, maybe check that out instead if you want to learn more about that. Okay, so for meditation, what you want to do, this form that I have been practicing is specifically known as mindfulness meditation. There's like a billion forms of meditation, right? Generally, it's just good for, being more mindful. And that sounds really abstract. You'll understand it more when you feel it. Okay, so all you have to do is very simple. There's like a 4-step cycle where first you breathe. So you'll be like, you close your eyes, you sit down, and then you'll think, oh, okay, I'm going to start breathing, because that's what Mr. Locke told me to do. And then you start breathing. You really, really focus on inhale and exhale your breath, right? You should be in total harmony with that aspect of it, that particular thing that you're doing, right? Which is breathing. Suddenly, your mind will wander. You'll be like, oh no, what if I have to talk to someone, or someone walks in on me while I'm doing this? Won't I look stupid? And then you're like, wait a minute, I lost focus on my breath. So then you're like, okay, I'm going to return back to my breath. And then you do it again. So you'll be focusing on your breath, and then, oh no, I have that assignment that's due tomorrow, and then pause. You realize that you've lost your focus, and you go back to it. So there's this important distinction, is that when you do mindfulness meditation, the goal isn't to lose focus less often, because realistically speaking, you're going to lose focus pretty often, right? You're going to lose focus and then regain it. You'll lose focus, regain it. It's inevitable that when you're focusing, like let's say you're in class, right? You're going to lose focus. Your mind will wander. Like, nobody is perfect enough to have no loss of focus. But what can improve much more easily is the time that it takes between when you're wandering in a new thought and then when you get back to the original thought of breathing. So for example, the time it takes for you to realize that your mind is wandering to when you return to your mind, that is what improves over time. So you really have to do it fairly often. I would say for most people, starting out with 2 to 3 minutes per day is pretty reasonable, and then moving into like 10 or 15 minutes. Make sure you really do it every single day. I think that's the most important thing. It's not really about meditating for an hour per week. It's more like 3 minutes per day would be way more valuable, even if it's less time, less volume overall. Mostly just because like you get more consistency in, you really get used to implementing it in your life. And suddenly you'll find that when you're at school, you'll be in class and your teacher will be talking about something like boring kinda. You're like, oh, this is so boring, but like, wait, hold on. I am losing focus on the subject. I'm thinking about how it's boring and I'm not thinking about the subject itself. So you go back to it and then wham, you're studying like ancient history or something. Great. Even outside of like focus, there are probably like a billion benefits to meditation. In all of my videos, I've been kind of alluding to how important meditation is. I've been saying like, oh, meditation's actually kind of important for this. Like, oh, meditation, you kind of need it. It's like the basis of this. That's why I said earlier, it's like the foundation that you build self-improvement on. It is the necessary bricks that you have to lay in order to build the house on top of it. So some of the benefits you will notice, obviously I just mentioned regaining focus. You will not be able to stop losing focus, but the amount of time it takes you to recenter your focus will improve. Number 2, you will observe emotions way better. So part of the thing that you'll realize when you're meditating is that some days you'll be really stressed. So you're like, oh, what am I going to do later? I have that big project, that big test. And then you're like, oh, wait, hold on a second. I'm feeling stressed. So you kind of like, you're in that moment of feeling stressed. And then imagine that you're like on your computer and you zoom out, right? You zoom out and suddenly you're kind of looking at yourself being stressed. It's almost like you detach from that particular emotion and you kind of like observe it as it happens, right? It's just you're observing it as a fact that you are experiencing that emotion, and that is that, right? There's no, you're viewing the literal meaning of that emotion. So it helps you to process exactly what you are thinking and exactly what you are feeling, right? If you ever feel overwhelmed, you really just need to zoom out, and just like think about the things you are feeling. Next thing it helps you, this is kind of by extension, is that it really helps you control your own thoughts. So whenever you are thinking about the wrong things, you can, realize that you're thinking about the wrong things and then return to what you should be thinking about in that moment. Kind of situational, because it's harder for you to think about the right things if you are in a situation where it's hard to think about the right things, right? Like if you are in a big crowd of people and you're trying to do you're trying to read, like obviously it's gonna be hard because you're hearing all these other people talk to you. So at that point, that's kind of difficult for you to like use the skills of meditation. But if you're reading quietly in your own room and you keep seeing things, you're like, oh, my phone just lit up. Oh, I have this assignment to do. Oh, you just really return back to whatever you're reading and just really focus. Now, obviously, doing conscious breathing is good for reducing stress levels, right? If you take full deep breaths, that's also going to help. But I think the main benefit, as far as stress goes, is to really just observe the emotion of stress and then, do with it what you will, because sometimes it's useful to be feeling stressed about things. Also acknowledge that it's really just an emotion, right? You can just zoom out and think about the bigger picture. What does this more broadly imply about what I have to do in my life? Can I control this? What am I going to do, right? Okay, I really hope this has helped people. I hope I've like illuminated the importance of meditation. It's pretty important. That the most important thing is to just start, right? You are kind of like, more than likely you probably don't meditate already. So what I'm telling you this for is to really just focus. So I'm not like a high level meditator. It sounds kind of ridiculous, but like I'm not some like insane level meditator. Anyways, remember that self-improvement is liberation and not sacrifice.